What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Taste of Tuesday on Taste of Loot Gaming, the show where we talk about gaming news. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
And a quick reminder to play Bound and Worms Battleground. Both offer free on PlayStation Plus right now. You can go download those, play those, come back at the end of this month. We'll be talking about our experiences with those games. Let us know yours for Plus Club. And our game of the month is Titanfall 2. Make sure to buy that because it deserves it. It's a great game. We'll be talking about that on Tastecast as well. News is a little thin this week, but we got a big thing that everybody's been talking about, so we'll get to that soon. But first bit of news is Titan Quest, a game that's over 11 years old, just got an expansion. Let's see, it's THQ Nordic put out the expansion just now. I actually just bought it, I haven't played it yet. They said since the day we acquired the franchise in 2013, we've been toying around with the idea on what's best for Titan Quest. We were quickly motivated to do another expansion as we realized Titan Quest is still actively played. Unfortunately, it took quite a bit until we assembled a good setup for a project, and meanwhile, we made ourselves familiar with the inner workings of Titan Quest through Anniversary Edition, which was a huge overhaul of the original engine. The end result is Ragnarok, and that's the name of the expansion. I forgot that part. As the title suggests, Titan Quest Ragnarok will take the game into a realm of Norse mythology. It will feature a brand new playable act with dozens of quests, new bosses, enemies, and new Rune Master mastery. An increased level cap of 85, character customization options have been expanded, new shaders, effects, ragdoll physics have been added, and the control options, interface, and modding tools have all been improved as well. They also said, we set out to create an expansion that is closely modeled after the size of Immortal Throne, which was the original expansion, both regarding playtime and geography, including items and monsters. There's more they can say, but what do we think about THQ Nordic looking at old franchise that people really like and going ahead and making an expansion on an 11-year-old game and adding all that stuff?
I'm a little torn, to be honest. I think it's neat that the game is getting support, especially since people are still playing it. And more content, obviously, usually is a good thing. My only concern there is that the original minds behind the game,
Iron Lore.
Yeah, they weren't involved this time. They made Grimdawn.
Grimdawn, yeah.
Man, my brain. I was like, I know they made a game.
They did.
So
that also has an expansion.
I just hope that they treated it with enough respect and that it still feels like part of the game. So, but I'm excited to hear what you have to say about it when you actually play it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as I heard this, I heard that it was out already, so I went and I bought it instantly. If it's bad, it's bad. But if it's good, awesome. I'm really kind of blown away that first off I didn't hear about this. Secondly, it just came out. But yeah, I love Titan Quest. It was kind of shitty because kind of how the story goes is Iron Lore made Titan Quest when they were under THQ. When they wanted to make Titan Quest 2 after the success of Titan Quest, THQ said those games aren't what people want anymore. Nobody wants to play those. And they're like, well, Titan Quest did really well, so doesn't that kind of mean something? And they're like, nah, we need you to work on something else. And then THQ went under for obvious reasons. They were making bad decisions because, as we know now, people love Diablo 3 and they love games like it. It's just interesting to see, and it sucks that Iron Lord didn't get to work on it, but it's interesting to see that after THQ Nordic saw potential in an 11-year-old game. People still play it. I still play it. So I think it's cool. As for how the game's going to be, it's interesting to hear that they're doing an overhaul on graphics and ragdoll stuff like that. That's cool to me. New mastery class is really cool. I think it's the 10th one. So there's like 48 different ways you can have a character now, which is pretty cool. Bunch of new items. I mean, this is really exciting. The only thing that will suck is if I play it and it just doesn't feel right. I mean, I was kind of weird that it's Norse mythology stuff because it's already a Greek game, but I mean, the game's already a fantasy Greek game. It's not like historically accurate, so who gives a fuck, I guess. And a fresh breath of air, having a different area could be cool. So I'll have to play it and I'll let you guys know how it is. I also want to let you guys know that if you do want to pick this up, you can get the anniversary edition of Titan Quest for like $4 right now on Steam. Like, and it's completely worth it. $4 is fucking insanely cheap for a game that has that much content. And with that, you get the original game and the expansion.
Mortal Throne.
Immortal Throne, yeah.
Even I can afford that.
Yeah, well, it's $4. I mean, fucking. So yeah, completely worth it, and the expansion I believe is $15. So I mean, with that you'd have hours and hours of content to play. So really cool. You have to have the
Anniversary
edition to play. So just letting you guys know. Thoughts?
Well, it's neat to see people try to like not necessarily rehash, but go back into an older game like this and kind of up it a little bit because there is still player base for it. It's a little overwhelming personally, just seeing another class added to it because I was already overwhelmed with the options and choices you have already. But you know, I'm sure a lot of people are welcoming of that new aspect. The whole like Norse mythology thing, that seems to be a trend that's started to come into play really hard this coming year. I mean, you've got a lot of movies like, you know, Thor Ragnarok just came out, which is very heavily with that Norse mythology.
or even God of War.
God of War is coming out with that Norse mythology. So it seems to be kind of a trend that we might see more of. Although it's been kind of like a subtle trend, I think, that's slowly gaining momentum.
People have always been kind of into it, yeah, but it is weird that like in this last like 3 years, maybe, we're seeing it kind of being highlighted. I think it's a kind of post beards being cool thing. People are like, hey, they had beards.
Fucking beards.
Go back about a year and a half ago in this channel, and you'll see fucking beards. I had a
beard.
nice old bum beard.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not the original crew, so who knows how it's gonna play out. How
That's something I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Because and they could be completely talented and have all the best fucking intentions in the world on trying to make this the best thing ever. But first off, even if Iron Lord came back 11 years later, that's still a gap of time. They're not in sync with it. If I'm working on a song and I stop for like months and I come back to it, it's so hard to get back into that because I'm not in the same mindset.
Right.
Let alone being a completely new team that might be fans of the game. You know, the fans of Silent Hill made that one Shattered Memories game, and I hated it. But they like the series. They're trying to make something good, and they don't have the mind to do something like that. So it happens. Just like when you have a movie being directed by a director and that they die, or like they make a sequel and they have a different director work on it. It can make or break it. So it's a risk, but I don't know. I think it's neat that they didn't have to look at Titan Quest and go, well, let's add something to that. If they do a good job, I'd love them to make a Titan Quest 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even fucking get some of the guys from Iron Lord back. Like, fucking have them work on it. Because I know they were working on Grim Dawn. They're an indie company now. I mean, I'm sure they'd love to come back for Titan Quest 2. So, I just hope it's genuine to the Titan Quest experience. So.
Right.
Any last words on that?
No.
$4. Fucking spend it. That game is awesome. Even 11 years later. Second bit of news. Nintendo and Illumination Entertainment are in talks and close to finishing a deal on making an animated Mario movie. This comes after the last time Mario ever was on screen in 1993, which was a complete and horrible fucking waste of everyone's life.
With
and
John
time.
Leguizamo.
And they were drunk on set, and people broke their arms and shit. And there was like a dude and his wife that made it. And okay. And yeah, they're planning on making an animated series. There's some information here, but nothing really too interesting. So yeah, it's close to coming up. It would be being made by the guys who did Minions, Despicable Me, Secret Life of Pets. And yeah, what do we think about Mario coming back to the big screen, animated? And also worth saying, Nintendo wants to be involved creatively.
I think it's neat. I think they picked a good studio to talk to about it. I think this story is hilarious because the day that we read about this,
yeah, it was funny.
We were talking with our mom, and I don't remember how it came up, but you were looking at something Mario related, and a name popped up, and she said, "Well, that's a character in Minions," and I was like, "That would never happen. There's no way Nintendo and Illumination would make something together." And then like a couple hours later, I was on Twitter. I was like, "You got to be fucking
that was
kidding
really
me."
fucking stupid. We've never talked about that subject ever.
Yeah.
And then the day you fucking said it wouldn't happen, it did.
Yeah.
So really fucking weird.
So yeah. But otherwise, I mean, I've seen most movies. I'm not a huge fan of the the stories in those movies, but the quality of the animation is very
definitely.
good.
Yeah.
So
You can't really argue against it. And I mean, like, you know, Minions isn't for me. Despicable Me wasn't really for me. The Universal ride's kind of fun, but that's the most I liked of Minions. Just watching them all running.
well, Secret Life of Pets was
Yeah.
Toy Story.
Yeah, it was okay though. I watched it.
It was okay.
I didn't love it, but it was all right. But yeah, complete competent company working on it. They obviously make stuff catered to like family friendly stuff, a little bit of adult humor there. I think it's perfect. Otherwise, the only other thing they could go for is like, you know, Pixar, but then they gotta sign their soul over to fucking Disney, the devil, and then they own another thing. I think it's cool. I think it's been a long time since we've had Mario. I don't think live action suits Mario. I think it's a weird idea. It's such a weird and colorful and fun and just cartoony world that like having a grown man just fucking hey Luigi, let's go blah blah blah.
Do you remember the 80s cartoon
Oh, yeah.
/ live action show?
Hey,
that
paisanos!
weird, like curly haired, long haired
The
Mario.
wrestlers got and they're like fucking boom 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 boom, just like rapping and shit. Oh god. And then fucking Zelda, excuse me, princess. Fuck.
It was a weird time.
Yeah. So I think this is the best way they could do it. Make it animated. I just got done playing Mario Odyssey. It's awesome. We'll be talking about that on Friday's show. But if they can even harness like that visual look in CGI and keep that kind of like just ridiculous, like fun, charming atmosphere. And have a competent storyline, they can make a shitload of these movies over time.
Yeah.
And I think they'll do well as long as they're funny. People love Mario. Just make it good. That's all you got to do. Don't make a shitty movie, and people will give you their money because it's Mario.
Yeah. As a nanny who spends a lot of time with young kids who watch a lot of new age cartoons, a lot of them are done in this 3D CGI, and they're fucking terrible looking.
Oh yeah.
I hate it. I despise this new age 3D animated cartoon bullshit.
Beast Wars though. That was the shit.
Didn't age well, but yes.
Oh, it looks like shit. That was the shit though.
I get cost wise that it is more efficient to have everything done on a computer, but I would really hope that they stick closer to an old style animation using the computer, because I've seen it done. I know they do it, and it looks great. That's the only gripe I have about this. Is that
So you want it to be like animated, not CGI?
I don't mind if it's computer done animations. Just I don't want that weird 3D cartoon stuff.
I'll bet all the money I got in my bank account, that it will look like Minions or Secret Life of Pets. It's gonna be that style, which I think will work fine. I really want it to look like Mario Odyssey.
I'll say if Nintendo is going to keep creative freedom about it, it'll probably look just the way Nintendo wants it to look.
Sure.
So
Yeah. But it'll be in the same 3D style as
no, I know.
movies.
I'm just emphasizing that if Nintendo has creative freedom, they're particular when it comes to their
Sure.
properties.
It's not gonna look like Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be fucking all weird shaped and like
Scarves everywhere.
weird animorphs and shit.
The other thing, though, I have a problem with video games, particularly being made in cartoons, is that, well, in Mario particularly, I don't find Mario's humor to be like overtly like funny. Like there's little tidbits here that like, oh, that's cute, that's funny. Even growing up as a kid, I didn't think anything was super funny. It's more about like the experience of going through the journey and the adventure. And I don't think it translates well into a cartoon show. And depending on what age group they're really gearing this towards, it could be disastrous if they try to shoehorn in all this really weird humor.
I agree in a certain sense. Like if I hear Seth Rogen in it, I'm gonna get pissed.
Oh,
If there's like and like making like weird subtle jokes about like fucking mushrooms and stuff like that, I'll have a problem.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have a problem with that because it would suck.
but,
I
like-
want this to be family friendly, just charming, like literally like the game I just played. Because when I was playing that game, I was smiling the whole fucking time. I was just enjoying myself the whole fucking time. Every little thing, all the little facial animations, just everything's just delightful and nice and fun. And like all the little like fat dudes just walk around just doing their things, and it's just I want it to be exactly like that. It obviously has to have a story or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I agree. Like if they start shoehorning in like certain kind of like, especially 2017 modern humor, where it's just like everything's kind of like ironic, like kind of like what they do with Star Wars, where people are like, "Do I talk? Do you talk? How does this work?" It's like that's not Star Wars. That's not how people fucking talk in Star Wars.
Right.
So hopefully it doesn't have shit like that. But I think 100% they can fucking do this and nail it and make everyone happy. And I hope that Nintendo has more control in this. Obviously they haven't signed the contract yet, but then just going like, yes, Mario looks correct. That's perfect. Go ahead.
Right.
Does he have a mustache? Okay, we're good.
He's fat, mustache. He's got a hat. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of like loose lore to Mario that you could have. There's a whole universe that you can really have fun with. A bunch of fun, colorful characters. They're gonna do a Minions type thing though, where they're gonna take one of like the Goombas or like Toad or something like that and have like groups of those so they can sell those to kids though, which isn't necessarily against anything because Nintendo already is a fucking franchise that's so viable it's stupid. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I'm not opposed to this at all. I think it's cool as long as they do it correctly, which obviously that's subjective, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really hope that they just kind of nail the style and make it look exactly like that video game, only better graphics.
I just hope they don't make it a show for 5-year-olds. That's all.
No, I want it to be family. Mm-hmm. As in, like, young kids can look at Mario fucking jumping up people's heads and going, whoo, and fucking they're like, ha ha ha. And, like, adults can be like, oh, this is interesting, this is fun. I like the little Toad guys, like, whoa, doing whatever the hell they're doing. They can do it. It's been done so many times in like Pixar movies and stuff like that, where everybody can enjoy it for different reasons. Mm-hmm. That I know they can nail it. And these guys have only made successful movies, so I mean, I just hope they don't bastardize Mario in a sense of like, fucking this. Mario is like the father character in this, but it's really about all the little dudes you're gonna want to buy.
If it goes south, it will morph into that.
I just want the baby Bowsers like Ludwig and all them. Mm-hmm. I want them in it.
The Kooplings.
The dude with the fucking sunglasses.
Iggy?
Yeah.
No.
Iggy, yeah.
Is it Iggy?
I'm pretty sure. That's my dude.
I think so.
I love him. I want all those guys just fucking like Squirtle Squad. Fucking Squirtle! That's my dudes. I love them. That's my crew. Anything else we want to say on Illumination and Nintendo? No? Mm-hmm. No? Okay, third bit of news is something everybody's been hearing about a shitload. Chevy has essentially the timeline. We're going to fucking go through that, and then we're going to talk about it.
Fair warning, this is a little long-winded, so...
Yeah. So just chill. Bear with us.
So this whole story revolves around Star Wars Battlefront II and EA, DICE, microtransactions, and the public opinion. So on November 12th, on the subreddit Star Wars Battlefront, a user, MBM Maverick, made a post saying, "Seriously, I paid $80 to have Vader locked." And in the comment section, the EA community team did respond, and I'm summarizing. The intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes. Costs were decided from data from the open beta. We are looking at average per player credit earn rates and will make constant adjustments to ensure players have challenges that are compelling, rewarding, and of course obtainable via gameplay. People didn't respond to that response very well and downvoted it so much that it is now the record-holding most downvoted comment on Reddit at negative 675,000 points. I think second place was like 2,000 points. So
was it Woody Harrelson with Rampart?
No, it was a guy who was asking for downvotes.
Oh. Well, he got what he wanted.
People claim that it will take 40 plus hours to unlock Vader or Luke, which are the characters that are in the loot boxes. And then an additional 300 hours to master your characters. So just even to get them is RNG. And another part of that was, people basically saying, I'm not getting all the content for game. You're putting parts of the game behind a paywall. Afterwards, DICE held an AMA, or an Ask Me Anything, on Reddit, and among other topics that they discussed, in the response to microtransactions, they said microtransactions are available as an optional way to speed up your progression. Shortly afterwards, DICE decided to reduce the in-game currency cost by 75% for characters like Luke and Vader. After that, EA released a statement saying, "We've heard the concerns about potentially giving players unfair advantages, and we heard that this is overshadowing an otherwise great game. This was never our intention. Sorry we didn't get this right." After that, all in-game purchases were removed and all progression is tied to gameplay. This is, however, temporary, because microtransactions will return at a later date when they can be made fun and addictive instead of intrusive and predatory. The last note on this is EA's stock dropped about 2.49%, and Disney had contacted EA expressing concerns. What do we think?
It's also worth noting that even though their stock did go down, they're still up 40% this year. So it doesn't affect them, but it is something. If you have a business, you go, we can't have that, because if you keep letting shit like that go, it'll affect you in the long run. So some people are like, it's not affecting them, and some people are like, it's affecting them. It's more complicated.
The drop was why Disney called them.
Yeah,
that was the concerning part, which is sad. That was the
it
reason.
indicates a trend. Like if you just ignore that little thing, those little things pile up real quickly.
Well, and then the bad PR too allows for future situations that this happens again. This whole situation literally is somebody flying too close to the sun, in my opinion. People have been kind of poking at people with microtransactions and DLCs, and people like Ubisoft have kind of tested the waters in certain areas, but they're really fucking quick about going, okay, you didn't like that? We're not doing it. EA's always had kind of a bad reputation. I feel like there's a lot of people who have just been pissed off at EA for a long time, and finally they just went too far. People got really pissed off about it. They tried to fix it in a really shitty way, and people were just like, no, fuck that. Like, we're not dealing with this. We're boycotting this. We're pissed off. Your fucking big business talk's not going to save the situation. Because what they did is shitty. I mean, I didn't buy the game anyway because I didn't enjoy it. But like they do this in a lot of their games, specifically DICE. Since Battlefield 3, you've been able to buy stuff in game to kind of hurry up the progression. I don't have a huge problem with that in the sense of like guns or whatever, just because in Battlefield a lot of the guns, your beginning gun and end gun, the stats are slightly different. So it's all with preference more so than that. But in this, full-on characters that you either can buy from them that are in the game, or spend what 340 hours getting.
Well, 40 plus just to get them, and that is an average, obviously.
Yeah.
And then after obtaining a character, it takes about 300 hours to master a hero in that game.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's putting people behind in that sense. Like if everyone had to do that, which would be fucking insane. That's one thing, but allowing certain people who are willing to pay for the express lane on that is just shitty business. That's just EA is not thinking about the gamers in the sense. They're not thinking about people buying it. They're literally thinking about what's something they can do that they can make some extra money off of that people are going to accept. Well, they didn't accept it this time. It's just that simple. I'm not going to sit here and bash EA all day because all companies try these things. They just went a little too far, and they do deserve the backlash. And I'm glad it's happening because this isn't going to change the world. It's not going to make people stop doing this shit. It's not going to change EA, but it is going to make them go, we need to watch how we do this. Because if we keep doing this, we're going to, that they got the most downvoted thing on Reddit made this story so much bigger, because that's also another story connected to it. It's a record for Reddit, which a shitload of people use. So they have to not do this again. So they gotta, I don't think they'll do this exact same thing again, but I also don't think it's gonna make them change their mind. But it is a big dent and start on telling companies that we don't want shit like that. That's fucking bullshit. If you're gonna do microtransactions, you're gonna do DLC and shit like that, just be fair about it, and don't change the way the experience per person is with the game based off if they're willing to give you extra money or not. It's bullshit. Anyway, that's a lot of shit I had to say.
No, that's fine. So, I mean, you pretty much said most of what I think about as well, the only things I really want to add is that it's weird, I guess in my point of view, because it was not weird. They made the decision that they didn't look at other free to play and microtransaction models and stuff like that and realize that everyone sticks to cosmetics for a reason.
Yeah. These lessons were learned in free to play fucking like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
6 years ago.
People don't care so much about that because it doesn't actually affect the game at all. You know, even like, and we use the example every single time we talk about microtransactions free to play. Warframe is one of probably the best examples of how to do microtransactions. We have a coworker who literally came up to me the other day and asked me if I'd ever heard of Warframe before, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And
it just shows there's people who are still new to it, though.
And his reason for enjoying it so much, besides it being fun, was he didn't feel like they wanted his money. As for when he was playing Neverwinter, he said it just felt like they wanted a piece of his wallet.
Which sucks because Neverwinter's awesome, but their prices are fucking high.
So there's plenty of examples out there, and you just chose the wrong avenue. You locked part of the game behind a paywall, and that, like we just got on saying, that lesson was learned already. Like, why are we repeating this? So
yeah, and
it's
then
a bad decision.
But I also think it wasn't. That was a bad decision, and they got the backlash. But they made it worse by trying to fluff talk it because it's an obvious
Multiple
situation.
times.
Yeah, it's insulting when people are like, "Hey, this is fucked up what you're doing," and they're like, "No, you just don't get it." And it's like,
no, you can get them by playing. And people were like, "Yeah, 40 hours." And someone even broke it down. They're like, "I'd have to play 3 hours a night for 16 days in a row, at a to be in the bracket of a chance to get this thing." And I was like, I don't play that much. I don't have that kind of time. Like,
which there are people that are going to do that, but not everybody's going to do it. The average person's probably not going to do it. I mean, kids who aren't at school or whatever are going to have a chance to do that.
People, with jobs, who
lives
generally pay for this stuff anyways, they don't have that kind of time.
No.
And they want to play the game and enjoy it the same way everyone else does. So
I also love too that they're it's so fucking, it's just bullshit of them just like fucking it's a free to play tactic. Make the in-game way to get it difficult so you want to pay for it.
Exactly.
Which is free to play all over it, and fucking
it's cell phone free to play.
But cell phones are like shameless, like free to play games. They're where free to play games used to be, and bad free to play games are now. But yeah, so doing that shitty tactic, which is old, I've seen it a million times, and then telling you, "Oh, we want you to feel challenged." Fuck off.
And
Go
accomplished.
Fuck yourself. Yeah.
Where's the accomplishment?
This isn't like some old school like MMO RPG where you're working your ass off and getting to the point where you fight a boss finally that feels accomplishing and rewarding. This is fucking. If you want that, you better put the time in. Otherwise, there's easier routes you could go to get this.
It's a very hard nudge into the direction of pay for this.
Yeah.
Because you're just basically you're punished not for paying it for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were doing. Yeah. This is a greedy corporate greedy corporate.
The tax on us.
Strategy is, like you were saying, it's that old free to play model where you
on a premium game.
Collect. You can give us fucking $10 for that cosmetic item, or you can collect 1 million fucking dye vials,
which you can only collect 2 of a day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do that, or give us money. It's faster, easier.
There was some fighting game that came out a while ago that had the same model, where there were several characters you couldn't get that they were locked behind a paywall, except for the characters were in the game data already on the disc. You just couldn't access them.
Street Fighter, when it came out, there was a shitload of costumes that were on the disc already.
They're already on there.
But when you paid them, it unlocked that content.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit.
Well, and the other part of that story, too, was that people went in and on their systems, went through and unlocked that stuff, and Capcom tried to throw a fit, and they actually...
you already bought it.
People, the legal system basically turned around and said, well, it's on the disc and they purchase it as their property.
The only way that they can counter that is with what a lot of people do with online stuff is make you sign or agree to something.
Terms of service agreement.
At that point, if they have a thing that says like, hey, there's content on this that we don't want you to have, and if you unlock it on your own, we can press charges, which they're not going to do because that'd be weird and it'd be telling.
I still think they'd be hard pressed to win in court.
It would be hard,
too,
but they could do it just because they do it with online games all the time. I mean, if you hack an online game, you agreed to not do that.
Sure, but the data's on their side.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully
that was another shitstorm.
Yeah.
At least Capcom to come out and go, well, the challenge.
We want it to be challenged. Yeah.
Those
We want
costumes.
you to challenge your wallet.
Pay us
to
money.
pay for these outfits.
Right.
You got to work hard to get cool things. So we're giving you a life lesson.
You know, you work,
Thanks,
you get
Capcom.
money. It's the Tommy Wiseau fucking explanation.
Oh yeah, how to get the $1 million to make that movie? You work hard, you get money, you make a movie.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how you get $1 million. Fuck, apparently, I'm not working hard enough.
Right.
I don't think that guy works a day in his life.
You know, and some of the one other thing I want to bring up to this is like, as much as I know people want to like torch and pitchfork.
Been trying to avoid that.
EA, Activision, Ubisoft, all huge corporations with the sole intention of making money, right? They made a bad decision. I also want to say that DICE is a development team that has to do things because EA tells them to as well. I know people were sending death threats to the developers and stuff like that.
Jesus.
It's really completely unnecessary.
Make me buy Luke Skywalker, I'll fucking kill you.
These guys literally, got into game making because they probably had a passion for it. They wanted to make games, they wanted to make stuff that was entertaining. They just
they're not
happened
trying to make a bad game.
They landed in a very cushy job for them financially, but that comes with a boss figure that says you need to find a way to implement this stuff for us. They don't have a choice in that matter. So
They're sitting there working on Battlefront. They got EA on their shoulders, just like, what are you doing? You gonna put some microtransactions? And then they got the added weight of Disney on EA's shoulders, like, hey, how's Star Wars coming?
Yep.
You gotta make us some money.
That's a really cool gun. That should be $5.
So-
Oh, it's
Well,
like-
I think it should be. No, I think it should be great. No,
That looks like a
it
$5
should be
gun.
$5.
A $5 gun, if you ask
Right.
me.
So basically, what I want to say is make sure that you're directing your opinions of this situation towards the right people, and threats aren't okay regardless
That's
of
not
the
gonna help or
situation.
change anything.
No.
This is EA's decisions and processes. I know one solution that I had read, someone say on Reddit, that makes a lot of sense. You can buy a Battlefront 2 still, support DICE, you're technically supporting EA as well, but don't touch the microtransaction stuff because that is 100% EA, and they'll get the hint if people aren't doing that. You're always going to have your whales who are going to do it anyways, but yeah.
Or be like me and realize when you play Battlefront 2 that it's just like Battlefront 1 with a couple things that are different, like leaf effects, and that it feels like a free play game that costs $60 and it's not worth playing, in my humble opinion. And just don't buy it in general, which that is against DICE. But they also make Battlefield, which I like, so I don't hate DICE at all. I just don't like Battlefront.
Yeah.
And this whole thing, I'm just like, that's another reason for me not to fucking buy it.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not gonna,
Star Wars.
I'm not going to buy this game either, and that has nothing to do with this at all. I just wasn't that interested. So, but if you are interested and you want to play the game, there's that option. The other option is go buy a used copy.
Yeah,
That doesn't go towards them at all. Then, so
and get at Best Buy, not GameStop. We gotta destroy the fucking hierarchy. Let's get rid of EA. Let's get rid of fucking GameStop.
Shit. Let me get some glue. I'll put my mohawk back up.
I think we pretty much set our piece on that one, though.
Covered it. Yeah. Let us know in the comments your opinion on the Battlefront 2 shitstorm, and I'm sure you're on the same page as us because none of us as gamers want to be taken advantage of by people. We just want to play the games, give them our money. It's a fair enough trade. So at the point where they're like, "Hey, give us some extra," it's like, "Hey, fuck you. We already gave you the money.
We did this
I paid
once.
my dues.
Yeah.
We already gave you $60 for Skyrim 6 years ago, Bethesda. Why am I doing it again in 2017. But I think it's going to do it for this episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Loot Gaming. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr and Twitter, Tasty Loot Gaming. Check out the streams on the channel. If you missed them, they're uploaded. I just played Arizona Sunshine on VR, PSVR, so check that out. He's on Twitch, Tasty_Fruit. And yeah, my name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
And we're at 260 subs, which is amazing, guys. Last time I said anything about subs, we're at 240. So for us, that's awesome growth. We appreciate you guys. And yeah, let's just make this community where everybody can talk about whatever the fuck they want gaming-wise. And we all are just like, yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, until next episode, which will be Friday for TastyCast, episode 46. Have a good week, guys. And take it easy.
You will pay $10 more for content on the disc already.
I will pay $10 more for content on the disc already.
You will get them to pay $15.
I will get them to pay $15.
That wasn't high enough.